Bonjour, c'est Claire, French in the Midlands. Today's video is about French pronominal verbs and what the four main categories are. I know I've already explained and I've already made a video about reflexive verbs. This is a bit of a more formal overview of it. It explains the different four categories you can have. The reflexive verbs are only one category. So I feel I should explain about the rest as well. Now, just before we start, I want to mention briefly, you can claim your free ebook, The 12 Golden Rules of French, at the link in the description. It's full of tips on how to speak French like a native speaker. First of all, let me explain the jargon. A pronominal verb is a verb that needs a pronoun, whereas normal verbs only take a subject. For instance, il est marié, he is married, the subject being he, il. Pronominal verbs also need a reflexive pronoun. For instance, il s'est marié, he got married. And you can appreciate the difference of meaning between the two. Il est marié versus il s'est marié. And that's all it is. A pronominal verb is a verb with a reflexive pronoun. Now, of course, the million-dollar question is, why do we need them in French? Well, they don't exist in English. They are implicit. And you have a very handy little verb in English that you can use instead, to get, that we just don't have in French. Let me show you the difference between je m'habille, I'm getting dressed, versus j'habille quelqu'un, I dress somebody else. Je m'habille literally means I dress myself. J'habille, I dress, quelqu'un, somebody. Okay, so as soon as you leave the me out, it applies to somebody else. And that's the big thing to remember. Now bear in mind, a lot of verbs in French can be used normally, as well as with a reflexive pronoun. And of course they mean something slightly different, but not much. For instance, on se voit dans la glace. We see ourselves in the mirror. On se voit tous les jours. We see each other every day. On ne voit rien ici. We can't see a thing in here. Now let's have a look at the four categories of pronominal verbs. The first category, I made an extensive video on the subject. You can have a look. I'll post a little link just above here. Is where the subject acts on itself. For instance, je me regarde, I'm watching myself. Reciprocal verbs is where the subjects act on one another. For instance, on se dispute, we argue. Idiomatic pronominal verb, it's a big, long description to say it's where the reflexive pronoun changes the meaning of the verb, whether you add it or remove it. Je m'appelle, my name is, versus j'appelle, I call. And essentially pronominal verbs, these are always used with a reflexive pronoun. They don't make sense if you remove the me, for instance. Je me souviens, I remember. The me is almost part of the meaning of the verb, so that never changes. You remove the me, suddenly you lose the meaning. I'll give you 3 examples for each category. First of all, reflexive verbs, where the subject acts on itself. Elle se regarde dans la glace pendant des heures. She looks at herself in the mirror for ages. Ils se préparent pour le travail. They're getting ready for work. Now you see in French we say they prepare themselves for work. Il a tendance à se coucher tard. He tends to go to bed late. Se coucher, to put yourself to bed if you like. Reciprocal verbs is where the subjects act on each other. It's always about 2 people or more. Les enfants se disputent tout le temps. The children argue all the time. So they argue with each other in French. Sophie et moi, on se connaît depuis longtemps. Sophie and I have known each other for a long time. On se connaît. We've known each other. Elles se croisent souvent au marché. They often come across each other at the market. Now, in my opinion, by far the most interesting category is the idiomatic pronominal verbs. They are verbs which change their meaning whether they have a pronoun or not. Let's compare je m'appelle Karine, where the pronoun is the me. I call myself Karine. My name is Karine. Compare that with j'appelle Karine, which would mean I'm calling Karine. Totally different meaning. Next one. Ils s'entendent bien. They get on well. Versus ils entendent bien. They can hear well. Again, the two are absolutely not related in meaning. Je m'attends au pire. I expect the worst. Versus j'attends le bus. I'm waiting for the bus. Here's the last category, which is verbs that are always pronominal, always with the reflexive pronoun. For whatever reason, they don't work without one. For instance, je me souviens bien de mon enfance. I remember my childhood well. Le prisonnier s'est évadé. The prisoner escaped. Elle a failli s'évanouir hier. She nearly passed out yesterday. Remember, elle a failli actually means she nearly. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. À bientôt.